Okay, hello everyone. We're here to talk about the ABC of dealing with your gamer community. I'm Lena. I'm the community manager of Everyplay, Unity Everyplay, and I'm here to talk about how to make your gamer community really successful and nourished. And
I'm Christina. I'm the social media lead at Unity, and I will talk to you about strategy, content, and analytics.
And I'm Sarah, and I'm a community manager at Unity, and I'm going to talk more about being open about your development, alpha testing, user testing, so forth.
All right. So first, you're making a game, right? But how do you get a community at the same time as you're actually making a game? Well, it really helps to have some sort of strategy. It doesn't have to be very detailed, but just giving the following points some thought will actually save you a lot of trouble further down the line. First of all, who are your users? Second, what do you want? What are you trying to get out of having a community? Third, what to post where? This is the heart of the content strategy. And fourth, I'm going to talk about how do you actually know you're doing well or not doing well, and what to improve. First of all, who are your users? What's your target group? You might be making an app for kids that's telling bedtime stories. You're maybe making a game that's for people like you who really get your hilarious Oregon Trail references. And it might be something completely different. So you need to know who you are actually talking to in order to make your community grow. And what do you want to get out of your community? Are you building a game studio? Are you releasing mobile games? It should be the next big thing. Do you just want to get your game in front of as many people as possible, and it doesn't matter if they're paying you or not? Are you trying to get noticed by specific people, like critics or publishers? Just make sure you have your priorities straight, because that will really help you to see if you're making progress or not. Content strategy. Well, you don't want to get too caught up into planning, too much into, OK, next Tuesday we need to post exactly this and that, and this is the exact wording, and now let's have a 2-hour meeting about the exact wording. No. But it's really, really helpful to know how are you going to talk to these people. Again, that actually stems from who they are. So you want to do some research into how do they talk amongst each other, which channels, which forums, which sites do they hang out on. That really helps when you look in games that are maybe similar to yours, so that have inspired you, and to see which channels they have had the most success on. The same with when you're active on Twitter or Instagram, look at which hashtags are successful. Definitely check out, if you haven't already, screenshot Saturday, Indie Dev Hour, Made with Unity Fridays, things like that. And then think about how will actually building a community affect your roadmap. Both in the sense that if you maintain 20 different channels with 5 updates a day, you're probably not going to actually get to making your game. And second, you want to know, OK, this is the time when I want to do alpha testing. So I want to actually have some content for people to feedback on so that they can tell me if I'm going the right direction. Nothing is worse than having a graveyard channel that you didn't get to for half a year, and then just having another update that says, sorry, I haven't had any updates lately working on the game. So just get into the habit of producing content regularly. This brings me to the question of resources. Maybe you're a really, really good programmer, but you're not so confident when it comes to video editing, or you're not a native English speaker, so you're not sure if your tweet don't sound ridiculous in a bad way in some other language. So definitely ask for help. If your marketing budget is 0, ask for help. Friends, random people, feedback from your colleagues, from friends. Even if you're a student, for example, find the marketing department and ask if somebody wants to work with you on this game. I'm sure there will be plenty of students who will appreciate the opportunity. But if your budget is not 0, really consider putting some money into getting a competent freelancer because having high quality content can actually be much better than spending a lot of money on advertising, for example. A connected question is, when you get videos and GIFs and things like that, how do you present them? Will you just say, my game has 100 different kinds of weapons. Check this out. That doesn't really entice anybody, right? So you might want to find your hook. For example, change the hue to change the world. It's one of the games that's in the Made with Unity section today. That's a really interesting hook, right? Like, what is actually making your game stand apart? Lastly, about content strategy, when considering the bandwidth you will need to count with, spending time on this, think about social media as being social. It's not just a promotion channel. It's about sharing, it's about talking. You need to spend at least 1/3 of the time on commenting, talking to people, connecting with people you met in real life, for example, here at Unite, giving them feedback. A simple thank you for a retweet can actually go a long way. Analytics. Nobody has any idea what they're doing. Social media, marketing, everything is changing so fast nowadays, so don't really believe the experts. I can tell you, okay, you should tweet a GIF every Friday with the hashtag #MadeWithUnity, but your game might be completely different, right? It can be for a completely different target group. Maybe it goes on different channels, so your mileage will vary a lot. So always keep an eye on the price, on the metric that most aligns with your goal, the point we talked about before. So, for example, engagement, when you want your community to get more vibrant, or clicks on link to your Steam Greenlight page, things like that. So yeah, good luck with that. And Lina will talk to you about what to do with the community once you have it.
Yes, there are a few simple tricks, well, maybe not simple, but tricks anyway, of how to make the community actually active and successful. The first of those tricks is to get a community manager. Unless you're really a one-man shop, you should really consider of having a person who has the time and devotion to listen to the users, activate them, be present, listen to feedback, everything. The community manager should have some personality, because nobody likes a corporate talking machine, and also a tough skin, because there will be evil comments, and you need to be able to just shake them off. Also, when you get a community manager, you need to decide, or the community manager needs to decide, if they want to be present with their own name and face, or just behind an avatar and a nickname. There are ups and downs with this. For example, I am at Everyplay with my own face, and well, not my own name, but it's Sherilyn, which explains the evil Lynn over there. That's actually a fan image. Yes, we have fans, with Andrew, who is my colleague. So when you're with your own face, it creates a certain kind of trusty feeling to the users. There's actually a person behind it all. But then again, if you look, well, you can look whatever, but you can still get the ugly bitch comments. So you just need to decide how you can deal with those. I can deal with those, so that's why I get these kind of images. Then, second important rule, be honest and be yourself. Really, don't lie to the users. If you have a feature update coming that is not really pleasant, just don't lie about it. You don't have to tell everything, but don't lie, because that always leads to, bad user experiences. And don't take a role, because that usually ends up, looking and feeling phony. So just be who you are, and be the person who you are. And really be human. Being overly sarcastic is, well, sometimes it can be funny, but nobody likes to listen and ask, really. So be a nice person. Then, make players as your fans. First of all, players really, fans of everything usually love to speculate. So if you have really interesting characters or compelling plot or whatever, just give out some sneak peeks, because that creates speculation and fan writings and maybe fan art or whatever keeps the buzz alive. So give out some content and give hints and be maybe a little bit mysterious, because that is what the fandom usually likes. Also, the same rule applies here. Be nice and actually listen to the feedback that you're getting. Be open to feedback and critics, and don't take it personally and get angry to your users, because your users like your product, so don't be mean to them. Also, if there are wishes about your game, make them come true if it's possible. If your world is something that is not against pink rally cars, you should include pink rally cars if there are plenty of users wishing for pink rally cars. So that always gives them a feeling of appreciation and something that you've actually listening, and they can make something come true. Then also it helps if you have a great backstory. It can be something that you had a dream about this game and you just had to build it, or it can be that you built it and developed it in your mother's cellar, and it came, worldwide success. And always, people love stories. If you don't have any really specific stories, don't come up with lies. Again, be honest. But if you have something that you can use, you can maybe exaggerate a little bit, but enough to make the story really a compelling one. Then make use of the big name fans. There will always be people who are really active and really into your game, and they will produce videos and comments on social medias and other content, and make use of the good buzz that they're actually having. So you can make them moderators of your game if they're trustworthy and feel like that. You can take their feedback, ask for their feedback directly. Anything that makes them feel appreciated. It can be a retweet or anything like that, but make use of those people who love your game. But be a bit careful, because if you're picking favorites and it's too obvious, it will make the other users jealous. So don't do that. Just make use of the fans you have, but be fair. Then you need to set rules for the moderation, because there will be penis images and penis videos, I can guarantee that. So you need to know what to do when the penis happens. So you have to have really clear rules of what is and what is not allowed in your community. It can be free, swearing can be allowed, but if it's not, you have to make sure that everyone in your gamer community knows that. Then the final thing, you need to get a good player support. It doesn't matter what platform you're using, whether it's Zendesk or just email, but be human and actually listen what your users are complaining about. And you can use macros, of course, if there are questions that are always the same, but being a person and having a personality and maybe customize the answers even a little bit, it makes the users happier and they feel appreciated. Okay, Sarah's turn.
All right, just tying both what Christina and Lena have been talking about today. Oops, sorry. So again, going back to the releasing content early on and sort of starting to do alpha testing with your users or potential users. It is scary and terrifying, or it's terrifying but both exciting to share content early from your project. You don't know where your project, how it's going to end up like, and that's kind of the scary but also exciting part of the journey. And also very, very interesting stories to share. It does make the entire development aspect of it super interesting for both yourself and other users, and it's also very educational. So the more we can teach our users about development, whether you're doing software, whether you're doing a game, the more understanding they can be around the complexity of your project, and the more supportive they can be. You will be able to gain feedback throughout, and sometimes even so early on that you can actually take action before you go too deep into the development that you can't make drastic changes. At Unity, as some of you may know, we recently went public with our latest beta in order to just do this. And if you decided to share content, whether it's on a dev blog forum, Facebook, or wherever, like Christina mentioned earlier, be frequent with your updates, even if it's small posts. It gets you into the routine of logging what you're doing. It helps you reflect on your development, and it also helps keep your audience captivated. So next slide. A little bit about demoing your projects. I don't know how many of you have checked out the Made with Unity showcase, but that's a great example. So if you are showcasing at conventions or events, do make sure to think about the audience that are at those events. Think about the noise level. Think about any kind of constraints you may have, such as how much attention and time can you get from each user testing your game. You can do a little bit of research right before attending an event where you're showcasing, just to get an idea of the venue, of the type of users that are going to be there. Because with that, you can make sort of a customized build specifically that fits that event. And this is well, specific for that event and the users. And this also varies from country to country and type of event to type of event. Like you have Unite and Gamescom, two completely different events. Here, for example, I just had a picture up of my friend playing a VR game. But if you're showcasing a VR game, make sure to have displays so that the crowd around can actually watch what's going on. That will make them curious. That will want them to also try your game. And again, your main purpose when showcasing is to observe how people interact with your demo. It is, of course, also to promote your game, but it's a great way of doing user testing. Just observe, just stand back, don't tell them what to do, and that will give you kind of an overview depending on the setting, of course. If it's to promote your game, kind of start spreading the word about your game, if you can, it's great if you can have some kind of experimental way of showcasing it that will, again, captivate the crowd around them and want them to also engage. And I do highly recommend to attend events, and in particular, if you can, showcase your game. Even if it means building an entire arcade into a cargo bike and cycling that around to local events, if you want users to start testing your games. Do set aside, if you can, a marketing budget for this. It's great if you can do it early on. You will meet a lot of people, and you will build this network of not only supporters, but also mentors. Here is Aileen, who she does the art for a game called Afterland, which is beautiful. And though it's a digital game, the way she showcases her game at events is that she live paints the entire day for the entire event. Because actually, all of the arts made for that game are hand-painted by her. So she's inviting people to see how the development of her game is actually done. Another thing about building demos is that you can also build demos that you send to alpha testers. And these demos are going to be tested at home by the user, so you don't really have the same constraints as you would at an event when it comes to audio and comfort and time. But however, you do want to give the user a full experience. You need them to, even if it's short, you want to fill the purpose of the proof of concept of your game. If you're not able to engage the user and let them have a good time with that specific demo that you send them, you're not going to be able to get the constructive feedback that you actually need in order to advance to improve your game. And one last thing, which I think is super cool, you can build a lot more around your game. So say that there's a part of the story that didn't make it into your game. You can create a comic book, for example, telling that story. Say that you have beautiful visuals in your game. Create postcards or posters. You can leave your audience with sweet memories, and it also makes it very, very personal. And that's it for me. So questions now?
Yeah, any questions? No one?
Yeah, here.
Oh, go ahead. Do we have the mic? Yes?
All right, we're trying again. Is it on? All right. No, that is on. It's my voice is very echoing. All right, here we go. This is a broad question.
Thank you.
But where do you think you get the most activity? Like what kind of social media? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? What is the most that, I don't know, your audience are active?
Unity audiences?
Both. Or like in games too. Like it's just more a broad question.
It really depends on which kind of game you're making, which is what I've been kind of trying to say. For example, for Unity developers, Twitter that's the main channel. If you're making something that's a little bit more broad, Facebook might be a better place to go, but it's really hard to get started from zero there. So you might want to get started on like 4 or 5 different channels and see where you get the best numbers. And then, if you really want to abandon some, then delete them rather than leave them like unattended for months at a time. Does it make sense?
But it also kind of depends on what type of support you want to give your audience. If you're making a very complex game, like a game that has modding tools, for example, they're going to be asking fairly advanced questions which can get lost on Twitter. So having like a dedicated forum where you can jump in and it's all documented and other people can search. I mean, I run the forums on Unity and I know that it's way easier than what Christina does, which is running all the social media channels, but can get lost within minutes. So.
I think you really need to, like Christina already said, you need to think of who are your users and what kind of platforms are they using. For example, Facebook is not, well, it's being said all the time that Facebook is not the social media platform that young people are using. So if you're making a kiddie game, then don't go to Facebook, in my opinion. So you need to really know where they are, your users, just like Christina said.
Thank you, Lina.
Any other questions? Over there?
So, I can see you remember them. I'm having a bad afternoon. Thank you.
Hi. Do you think there's any merit to Dev Diaries these days? We're quite a small indie company. We've got one game on the go. I'm just wondering if people read them. Do they care? Is that part of your backstory? That sort of thing.
Definitely. I mean, other people want to know how you make certain things. Say you want to make this is part 1 of a guide of how I made the animations in the game, or this is, how I made this feature, or I think it can depend on how technical you want to go. If it comes to smaller entries, I'm not sure how a dev blog would fit with that, but definitely if you want to explain this is how we did this, because you are going to get those questions from people all the time when they play your game and they're also interested in doing games, for example, or they're just curious. I don't know if maybe it's more fit for other developer audience or if it's consumer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to get an early dedicated audience because most game developers are also really, really, really keen on playing games. So, even if it's very technical and will not actually be that interesting to the end audience you had in mind at first, you might get a lot of people who will, find your information useful for what they're making, and then they will share your content, and then maybe somebody in their network would fit your target audience. So it's definitely worth it, even if it's only for documenting how you're doing, like Sarah was talking about.
It also makes everything visible. So if there, like a feature is not working as it should be, when you have been open about the process, users are more understanding what's going on. And I think telling a backstory and telling of what you do is always a good thing.
And people do it on Kickstarter too. Like if you're doing Kickstarter, you can make updates all the time for your backers, and those are super interesting to read, and you get even more excited when you get those emails as well.
I think we have time for one more question, if there is any. Super quiet. Okay, you again.
Again. Just a random broad question again. Like a community thing. Like, what do you get the spark back? Like, do you always have like an ace you can turn to, or? you know, do you understand what I mean?
How do you get the what back?
How do you get the spark back? Like if you feel like the stuff you're posting, like it's getting dead, nobody likes it, does thumbs up or retweets it. Like how do you personally approach this? How do you get the spark back? Are you waiting for a big release? What are you doing?
I would say start with, you know, sharing other people's content and commenting on it, and maybe do some offline kind of prepping, like, please, I have this trailer. Like, I know nobody wants to ask for help, but if you really ask your network to help spread the word, it can go a long way. And I know it can be really discouraging, but it's a really slow process, right? You're used to just, you know, coding, and then you press compile and you have something. When with the community management and marketing in general, it's more of a long game. So you might not see the results right away, but it doesn't mean that it's, you know, doesn't work and I should just give up forever.
I also felt that when there were quieter times in the community I manage, just be present yourself, be there, you know, just be active, answer to every question you have. You know, just if you're active yourself, it will eventually, you know, affect the users. They will notice, oh, there is someone, there is content posted, there is someone to answer my questions. So I think that helps also.
And I think one more thing, and I didn't mention it earlier, but if you read like articles by journalists that you really respect, I would say start making relations with them, even if it's on Twitter. I mean, that's also a way they can give you advice, they can maybe even help you at some point. I think that's also really important, that having these press relations with journalists that will understand you and your games, but also those that write the stuff that you enjoy and read on a daily basis. So maybe.
And not spamming people, but sending personalized pitches really helps. Wow,
Okay, yeah, okay. We're out of time, so thank you, everyone.